Welcome to the Hustle Report by Jason Malone, presented by Clicks Media.
All right, guys, so I'm going to jump right into it. So one of the ways in which you can achieve entrepreneurship or pursue your entrepreneurship goals is through acquisition. Now, it's a concept that not a lot of people talk about, but it's probably one of the most tried and true paths to entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship through acquisition. Now, it's a fancy term, but in reality, all it means is you became an entrepreneur because you bought an existing business. Now, going down this path has some hurdles to it, but in my opinion, it's one of the safest ways to get into entrepreneurship. You buy into a going concern and you benefit from the existing customers, the existing sales, the existing business operations that are already in place. That way you can focus on maintaining a solid business model versus trying to develop one from scratch. So if you're someone that has been working your job for some time and you've been trying to figure out what is the best path for you so you can start your own business, but you're really unsure about the industry, you're not sure if you are able to develop something from scratch, one of the ways that you can bypass kind of a lot of the headaches that come about on the front end of starting a business from scratch can be just by buying an existing business. And this was the path actually that I took before when I started my entrepreneurship journey. I achieved entrepreneurship through acquisition. I was in business school, and with a really good buddy of mine, we went out and we acquired 2 restaurant chains. In our case, it was something that really taught us a lot, right? Because we did this right after business school. And the entire journey after we acquired those 2 restaurants was almost like a second business degree. And it was the best experience that I've had, one of the best experiences that I've had, because I was able to get into the business, learn the business, learn from the existing operations of the business. And most of my time was spent on maintaining a going concern as opposed to trying to get something off the ground, get something, going from scratch. I had existing operating manuals. I had an existing brand. There was already an existing customer base. So for me, the focus was, how do I grow this business? How do I keep the customers coming back? How do I innovate this business so that I can increase the sales? After a while, I decided that I didn't really enjoy the restaurant business. So I would encourage you to, do your due diligence on an industry that you really care about, that you can spend a lot of time working on, right? Because when you're an entrepreneur, you're working a lot. You're definitely going to be working way more than your 9 to 5, especially on the front end. So you want to make sure that you go into a business or an industry that you genuinely care about, because for the most part, it's going to consume all of your time. Now, like I said, I learned a ton from the experience, and I ultimately sold my business, that restaurant business, to another entrepreneur that was trying to, get into starting his own business. So it's just a really good way for you to, get involved in something that already has existing cash flow, already has, people that know about the business, so that when you pick up the phone and you have to start generating new customers, generating new clients, increasing sales, it's a little bit easier because it's something that's been around for a while. Now, it's not fault-proof, don't get me wrong, right? And you definitely have to do your due diligence on the front end, because you want to make sure that you're buying something that's actually a good business, doesn't have a whole bunch of hair on it, And what I mean by that, it's not a whole bunch of weird things and risk associated with the business. You want to make sure that the previous owner was running the business with clean books, just so that when you get in there, you don't have any issues because of some past history or something, past situation that the previous business owner created. However, if you do your due diligence and you identify a good business, it could be something that works out really well for you. And this same thing actually goes for if you have, an existing operation, you've been working on it for a while, and you're not exactly sure how to grow your business. You can achieve that growth through acquisition. So let's say you own a production studio or photography studio. You have clients, but it's difficult for you to expand because you're spending so much time on your own day-to-day business, and you're not exactly sure how you can, achieve more market share in your respective community. One way in which you can achieve that is by identifying another similar business that is for sale. In the market environment that we're in, there are a lot of people that are putting their business up for sale. All of those baby boomers, they're now coming upon that retirement age, and they're looking to sell their business. However, they don't have, an heir or a child that's going to take over the business for them. So they're looking to sell that business so that they can exit, pass it off to a worthy next owner, get a little bit of cash out of it, and retire to the beach. Well, that's an opportunity for you to get in there and take advantage of, the past 20, 30, 40 years of that person's hard work and maintain that going concern. Roll your sleeves up. Maybe you can work out a situation with that previous seller where they're willing to stay on as a consultant and train you for 3 to 6 months so that you're not just jumping into it willy-nilly without knowing what you're doing, and you can get real guidance, real counseling on how to operate that business. These are things that can be worked out and can be structured. But if you have an existing business and you're looking to grow, one of the ways in which you can achieve that growth is through acquisition. So like with the example that I gave, you can, if you're running a studio, you can purchase another studio in your market or even a different market just so that you can achieve your growth. So acquisition is a really good path that I think people should take a look at. And there's a ton of resources in which you can find businesses and get the information that you need for, businesses that are on the market for sale. One of these resources is base.com. I actually found a business that I was looking to purchase on this platform. Like I said, this is something that I've considered for a period of time. I've done it myself. And I think it's just a really good path for someone that can't exactly identify what type of business that they want to start. Hop on bizbuysell.com and find you a business in an industry that you can see yourself working in, or an industry that you're passionate about. Like, I'm in the media space now, and I have definitely identified studios to acquire. I've identified networks to acquire, and I've, moved on some of those transactions, because entrepreneurship is it's there's no straight line with entrepreneurship. There are a multitude of ways in which you can get to owning your own business, and one of my favorite ways is through acquisition. And I might be a little bit biased because my previous work history, I worked in mergers and acquisitions, so I kind of have an eye for identifying value and purchasing that value and maintaining and increasing that value. So I think it's a really good pathway for someone that can identify themselves as an operator. Or let's say you're a good salesperson, you want to find an operator that you can install. But find you a business that's up for sale, a good business with good cash flow, has good margins. It doesn't have, huge concentration into 1 to 2 customers. It's diversified. Something that you can maintain and keep going and grow. You get in there, you get that business going, You maintain that business. Now you're an entrepreneur, but you achieved that through acquisition. You bought someone else's business. Now it's your own, and you can build upon that. All right, guys, hopefully that was helpful. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure to reach out if you got any questions. But I appreciate you as always, and I'll see you on the next episode.